Hello? Hello? Hi! Hello everyone! Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you are. Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Oh wow, it's exactly midnight for some people. It's 9 p.m. for me. I didn't even plan that. Hey guys! What's up? Ooh, yeah! 2 days ago was my 5-year sub button anniversary! Well, not mine, like all of your guys' as well, of course. But 2 days ago, it was our 5-year sub button anniversary. Didn't get to celebrate it yet, but we will. Do not worry. We will celebrate it. Stop with the Monka W's, guys. Hi, guys. Hi, hi, hi. So alerts are going to be turned off for this stream. I hope you guys understand. Yeah, we might have to sub only this if it comes down to it, but hopefully it doesn't. I'm not, yeah. Sup. Thanks, Keone. I know, this is really new for me. I was sitting here for an hour just looking at my OBS, ready to press the start streaming button, and my heart was beating out of my freaking chest, and I just sat here, just terrified and frozen. I almost didn't end up doing this at least 200 times in the past hour. Yeah, this is not normal for my stream. It's really not normal for my stream. I don't like bringing... Hi guys. Hi. Yeah, so oh my god, you guys. Yeah, I just started streaming like 3 minutes ago. So I wrote everything down because God forbid I speak out of my brain right now. Yeah. I guess I don't really know how this goes, so I guess I'll just start talking. People are probably gonna watch the VOD anyway, so it doesn't even matter if I wait or stall. Okay. So, for the past years, I've kept personal issues out of the public's eye for the most part. The concept of speaking about private matters to me on the internet was and still is very hard for me to fathom. However, I felt it was my duty to speak on my behalf in this situation. So, excuse me if I get a bit emotional or if I blunder. This is really new for me, but yeah, it's actually very strange. It's really strange. Anyway, I'm gonna preface this by saying that some things will seem like I'm blaming Fed for certain outcomes when that's not the case. In reality, the reality of this situation is that it was ultimately an accumulation of many things. However, I'm going to highlight some certain situations where I did feel like Fed did have a big part or influence in the outcomes. To give you guys context, Hobbs, stop working! Shh! I feel like he can sense my nervousness. I don't know. Anyways, okay. Hobbs, stop working! I'm doing something important right now! Okay, I just want to let him calm down for a second. Okay. So to get, okay, let's just start over. Anyway, so to give you guys a little bit of context of myself in my own life, I was really inexperienced with guys romantically before meeting Fed. As many of you guys already know, the inexperience was not a meme, it was real. My entire life, I'd immediately shrug off physical advances or flirtatious behavior. I remember being comfortable confronting guys about their behavior, especially if it was towards my girlfriends. So I was always comfortable telling guys to back off. I was always comfortable. When I saw a guy imposing on a girl or my girlfriends that I wasn't okay with, that they weren't okay with, then I had no problem calling them out alone in front of everyone, blasting them. I had no problem. I was the girl everyone could rely on, and I prided myself and I prided myself on that. In high school, my girlfriend's parents would call me, like literally my girlfriend's parents would call me to make sure that their daughters were okay. Like I was like that one girl in high school who was like super chill with like all the parents, all my girls' parents. Okay. Okay, so let's begin with my story, with my experience. So one of the first times I met Fed, I remember sitting next to him at a table filled with friends and coworkers. We were having a dinner together. I didn't really know him at this time. I think it was literally just like a big table of like streamers. My manager was there. Our agent was there at the time. It was just like a big party. It was a big dinner of like people, streamers, whatever, just to hang out and stuff. And Fed was sitting next to me. I didn't really talk to him much at this point, but he would engage in conversation with me, which I thought was really nice. But then throughout the things that he would tell me, like throughout the things that he would say, he would make excuses to touch me. Oh, sorry, I motioned here, but it wasn't here. He would touch me on my arm. He would touch me on my waist. He would touch me on my legs. Casually, in between his sentences. At the time, I honestly was kind of weirded out, but I was still an adult, and I went through college. I've dealt with many guys, went to clubs, so I knew how to like handle the situation at the time. I told him to stop, and I told him to stop touching me. We kind of memed about it afterwards, but like, yeah, anyways. Kind of like this basically set the tone for the rest of my years with Fed. Fed would push my boundaries and I'd push him away. Eventually he'd flirt and push my boundaries in front of our friends. And then I'd like yell at him or like swat him away. I'd be like, Fed, what the fuck? Like, stop. Like, what are you doing? Like, don't touch me. Like, what do you mean? You know, it was kind of like our dynamic of he would push my boundaries and I would like push him away, you know? And people eventually started to like laugh at our dynamic. Our friend group started to laugh at our dynamic. All the most important people in my life would like message me saying, you and Fed have such a fun dynamic. And I'm like, oh shoot, like kind of like in almost a comical way. I also came to believe that this was like just our dynamic. I'm sure you can find like dozens of clips online of these interactions between me and Fed. And this is also kind of how like our ship name, Femi, was born. If you guys remember Femi, like Fed plus Kimi is Femi, you know? Thinking back now, I was actually like genuinely never 100% comfortable with this boundary pushing, but anyway. He would show me and sorry, I'm like okay. I feel like I'm getting distracted hearing like my housemates right now, like just talking and stuff, and I'm just getting distracted right now. Okay, Kimmy, just read your points. Okay. 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 He would show me an incredible amount of attention and affection, reaching out when I'd post a sad tweet, hearing me out when I'd be vulnerable, and reassuring me that he will always be there for me. I remember confiding in him about kind of everything I was vulnerable at the time. I remember saying I was struggling with my friendships and also struggling with my stream. I actually looked over some of our early conversations today to make sure that I was recollecting things correctly, and I felt myself reading back our DMs and chat logs with like a lot of fondness. So it felt like I was very special to him, and it felt like it just felt like I was really special, and I felt like he was really special too in my life. But just as easily, I wouldn't hear from him for days, weeks, months. Since he would open up to me a lot, he would be vulnerable with me and open up to me. I assumed it was because of his stress. I assumed it was because of his like past trauma he's still trying to work through. I assumed it was because of his ADHD. Like I always kind of made excuses in my mind, just to justify the fact that, just to ignore the fact that I felt at the end of the day, like ashamed, that I felt really sad that I was being ghosted by somebody who I thought was really special to me and by somebody who I thought I was very special to. During these periods of like ghosting, I would see him make a lot of content with my friends, and I would like rarely be invited to these streams and stuff. Like I remember being too prideful at the time to be ashamed, but then eventually he would find his way back, and he would open up to me again, be vulnerable with me again, and I would end up comforting him. And I couldn't really seem to fault him for anything. I remember Fed would come over to Just Friend's house a lot. We'd honestly just watch anime, keep each other company, chill on the couch, chill in the sofa, Jamie's room, anywhere. He would come over and we'd just chill. A lot of times I saw him on his phone. He was very stressed out. He didn't really verbalize a lot of things that were happening in his life, but he would just sit there very stressed out, and he would block me out whenever I tried to talk to him. Not all the time, but when I would try to talk to him, he would flat out just ignore me. And when it was literally just like me and him in the room together, like he would just ignore me. And I remember just feeling like very confused. Eventually he'd inch closer to me and he put his head on my shoulder and then my lap, and he'd fall asleep. He'd do this in front of everyone, so he wasn't like hiding the fact that he was like getting physically comfortable with me. Although I wasn't really reciprocating at all, he would often put his head on my shoulder. He'd often put his head on my lap, and I never did the same to him, but regardless, that happened. I guess the problem I had was that he would do this in front of everyone except for select people. One of them being Amon or Pokey. So it made me very confused why he would suddenly be very intimate with me, put his head on my shoulder, even flirt with me, like lock eyes for long periods of times, give me a lot of attention. If that was strictly as friends, that would have been okay. That I would have been like, okay, maybe that's just how Fed is as a friend. I don't know, maybe it is. But the fact that he didn't do any of that stuff, as soon as, for example, Pokey entered the room, that made me so confused. Like, I just remember being like, what the heck? Like, what the heck? And then I remember it made me feel like I was allowing him to do something behind her back, which made me feel like an awfully terrible person. And that was a big reason why I shut myself in a lot. I couldn't really get myself to open up to her or anyone. I remember I would go to offline TV and Fed would ignore my presence in the entire room. In the entire group of people, Fed would ignore my presence. When every day we'd be like talking, chilling, hanging out, and then like we'd be in a group of people and he'd like ignore me. But then after the get together was over, he would go to his room and then sometimes he would text me to come meet him in his room. And then, so I would go. I thought I was being a good friend, whatever. And he would be laying in his bed, like very stressed out, and I would comfort him. And I guess that just happened again and again and again and again and again. I hear Hobbs and my roommate running everywhere right now. Okay. There are... I ended up watching everyone's statements, just to get a general. I didn't want to repeat myself. I didn't want to like make this too long. I want to know what you guys know. I'm gonna assume you guys all saw their statements too, so I'm not gonna repeat myself too much. I think you guys pretty much know that he had this ability to make us feel very comfortable around him. Okay. Now let's fast forward a little bit to 2 specific instances that I remember where I felt very uncomfortable. And I actually barely opened up about this to anyone until Pokey reached out to me like a week ago, and she like prodded for information. And she's like, hey, do you have like any experiences with Fed, by the way? And I was like, well, come to think of it, I might have something. And then I'm like, well, there are 2 things that happen in particular. And then she's like, can you tell them to me? And I'm like, I'd really rather not. You know, it was a long time ago, whatever. And she's like, no, I think I would really like appreciate it if you told me. And I'm like, frick, okay. And then I told her, and like, I guess the response I got was different than what I thought. Like she was really sad for me. Like she's like, dude, why do you keep it in this whole time? I don't know. So I guess I'll just say them now. The first experience was when he came over to my apartment one night when I lived alone. We just chilled and watched shows. I honestly don't remember what show we watched, if it was this night, but I do remember it was one of the times he came over. He put on Sex Education. And I think he was just playing off of me being like super like uncomfortable with that stuff. But like if I'm being uncomfortable with it, it probably means I'm uncomfortable with it. Anyway, whatever. So he put on some show like that. And then and then another time, I'm not sure if this was the same night, but another time in my apartment alone, he casually told me his porn preferences. So, I mean, I get it. Like friends do that. I just thought that was like, people, I'm the last one that people tell their porn preferences to be honest. So I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Anyway, after hanging out, he didn't want to go back to offline TV. I have like a really OP couch. It's really comfortable. Janet slept on there for months. Like I've slept on that couch for months. Like I love that couch. I love when people stay over because they have that couch. So I'm like, okay, I'm chill if you sleep on the couch. So I came out of my bathroom after like washing up and everything, and I saw him in my bed. And prior to this, I don't think Fed and I have ever shared a bed together. One time I slept over at Yvonne's house, and Fed squeezed himself on Yvonne's bed. So it was me, Yvonne, and Fed, and he fell asleep. So that was probably the only time we shared a bed, I think. So he was I walked out of my bathroom and I see Fed, and I'm like, Fed, what are you doing? And he's like, come here, like, let's cuddle. And I looked at him and I'm like, what the fuck? No. And he was like, no, come on, let's cuddle. And he's like, it's not that big of a deal. Let's just cuddle. And I clearly remember saying no. I clearly remember being uncomfortable with this. I don't cuddle with my guy friends, and I never have in my life cuddled with a guy friend before. Ever. I barely even cuddled with the guys I dated at that point. I never had any serious relationships. I just never found anyone to date seriously. Anyway, that's a story for another time. So I remember being very uncomfortable and saying no, and he eventually was very insistent, and so we cuddled. I was little spoon, he was big spoon. It was extremely awkward. I hated it. We never did it again. I talked to him on the phone a few days ago, or the other day, last night, I forgot, very, very recently. Okay, let me check. Yesterday, it was yesterday. We called yesterday. Wow, it just feels like days are so long these days. Okay, anyway. So we talked on the phone yesterday. I told him about that experience, and he told me that he genuinely doesn't remember me saying no. And I kind of believe him. A part of me believes that he truly doesn't remember me saying no because he's done this so many times with other girls. All I know is that was the first time that's ever happened to me, and that was what I remember. I don't know. The second situation was in Jamie's room. I was lying on Jamie's bed with two other girls. We were like squeeze me. It was like Celine or somebody else there, and then like I was like up here in front, just like with my knees up. Smoothie or Andy, I believe, was in the office chair. I'm not sure who else is there. It was in the Just Friends room, and the lights are off or dimmed, and we were just like vibing to music, just chilling, chatting. I don't know. It was just like a night where we were all just like vibing in Jamie's room. So Fed comes in the door, and I'm laying down. If I can like picture this for you guys, like the bed is like this, the pillow's here, and then I think like one girl was like here, and I just remember laying down here at the bottom left corner with my knees up. Anyway, so then Fed comes in the room, and he wants to lay down too. He sits on the bed, he wants to lay down, and then this is so strange for me to talk about on the internet. Oh my god. Anyway, this is so weird. He opened my legs and put his head on my crotch. I was wearing pants and everything, like, that just never happened to me before. And then I remember being so overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do. I was laying there, and I was in a group of people, my friends, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. And I was just laying there. And then he takes my ankle and puts it on his groin. I said that really casually because it was really hard to say. Anyway, that only lasted for like a split second because I immediately moved my foot off because I was not okay with that. And that moment was the moment that like, that moment was the moment. That was the moment. That was the moment. That I that was the moment that really like shook me a lot. I remember being really upset about this and telling some friends, none of which really were surprised. They were shocked. They were like, oh, I'm so sorry. That's horrible. Like, oh man, that's uncomfortable. But no one was surprised. I told guys, I told girls, no one was surprised. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Then I guess that's that. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm over it now, but that upset me for like a long time. I talked to Fed about this on our call yesterday, and he said that he doesn't remember the situation, but he did apologize if it did happen. I pretty much shut myself off from Fed at this point, but it was really weird. I was in this weird limbo of really craving his attention still, but feeling very insignificant, feeling very ashamed of myself, feeling like my character was broken throughout the years, not blaming him for that. That's just what I felt at the time. Like, ironically, he was one of the people who would reach out to me, telling me like, Kimi, you're isolating yourself. You have to hang out with us more. I don't blame Fed for isolating me. Like, I don't blame him. I think he had part of it. I think he made things kind of weird, really weird. But like, anyway, I just thought it was pretty troll, like looking back now. One time at a rave, Fed told me, okay, because we rave a lot, right? So I forgot when this rave was. Probably like, I want to say it was like last EDC. No, it wasn't. I forgot. Okay, so at a rave, after this happened, Fed told me, and I quote, he told me, I'm happy we can still be chill after everything that happened between us. And up until now, Fed and I never talked about anything that happened between us. So when he told me that at a rave, I had no freaking idea what he was talking about. I had a vague idea of what he could have been talking about, but I was so confused in the moment, and I was just like, yeah, me too. And he never like really explained. He never explained further. So yesterday so for the past few months, I've been going to therapy every Monday, just because, I think it's been really helping me and stuff. And I told her about the situation, and I basically asked if I was overthinking things, because when I was recollecting a lot of things that happened, I couldn't help but think there were small things that happened. So I spoke to my therapist about it, and what she said was that what makes a behavior problematic is seeing the frequency of how much it happens. And once she said that, I'm like, okay, yeah, these things happened a lot. In a way, I feel like I let myself down. I wish I was aware of this behavior so I could have called it out and prevented it from happening earlier. Had I trusted myself and held Fed to the same standard as other guys in my life, I feel like I really would have been able to call out this behavior. In a way, we created this behavior. I think we should have done more to stop him instead of enabling it. The internet and all of us saw Fed as this amazingly great person and friend. There's no doubt in my mind and in my heart that part of him is still there. He's done countless charitable things that he was glorified for over these past years. However, I still believe he needs to take accountability for what he's done. And going on from that, it'd also be hypocritical for me to not also take accountability. In the future, I'm going to make a better attempt in calling people out in the moment. Like, I want to make a better attempt. The Kimi in high school called out guys fearlessly. Not only guys, girls. The Kimi in high school called out bullshit fearlessly. And I just don't know where she went right now. But I'm starting to think I'm finding her again. I want to make a bet. This is hard for me to say because I think it's a big claim, but I really want to try to help make a better attempt in calling out people in the moment. I want to hold the people I choose to have in my life to a higher standard, so people, women in particular, feel more safe in my friend circle. Fed and I had, just to give you guys some closure, Fed and I had a call last night, and it was quite short. I was able to say what I wanted to, and he was incredibly apologetic. But I ultimately told him that I need some distance from him, but I'm truly rooting for his growth. Wow, that was, and that's what I have. I feel like I rehearsed it in my mind so much better, and once I actually said it, I just felt like a potato, but at least I was able to say it, and I hope it got conveyed at all, because that was a big part of my stream in my life, and I just thought it was really important. And I really wanted to stay strong in this and address it and move on forward from it, and hopefully we can all learn from this. I can learn from this. Fed can learn from this. The reality is that this is a very complex thing that happened, and so many people were involved. The reality is that everyone had temptation to do what Fed did, technically, but at the end of the day, Fed's the one who actually did the things he did. Whereas, and like so many times too, where it became a problem. I'm not saying everyone is like perfect, everyone other than Fed is perfect. I'm not saying the Fed that we loved for the past years is not him anymore. I just think that like glorifying this guy who's like crazy, like nice, genuine, whatever, is not grounds to sweep things under the rug. And I wanted to bring light to, I just wanted to bring light to the situation that these are the things that like happened to me and affected many years of my life. Although Fed wasn't the only one involved, obviously, like when it comes to people, there's no like one person who's like the problem, right? The reality is that he did end up making things weird for me. And a lot of people. And none of us thought anything was wrong about that. Like, none of us, we were all like watching his content, and so, anyway. Yeah. Okay, I promised myself I wouldn't get too emotional speaking about this. So, yeah. Okay, this is strange. I didn't plan on what would happen after. Thanks for coming and listening to my story. And I just want to let you guys know that, like, I'm okay. I really am okay. And, yeah, I have a really great support system. And I really believe in all my friends. And I really believe everyone in my life wants to be a good person. And I really want myself to be a good person. And I don't know, I just have a lot of faith and trust, and that's all we can have right now, right? So, anyway, yeah. Yeah, I just, it just was really hard for me to have this conversation because I am the type of person who I don't want anyone to get hurt. I'm okay with talking about things away from the public, but the public at the end of the day has the power to hurt people a lot. Not you guys. You guys would never hurt anyone, but like other people would hurt people. I don't want anyone to get hurt. I don't want to be the reason why anyone's hurt. And I just felt like the situation, it was inevitable. Yeah. So but yeah. Okay, how bad will chat be if we take it off sub mode? Or if we take it off, like, is it on emote only? How bad would it be if we take chat off emote only mode? Alright, let's try. I think it's okay. I think it'll be okay. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It was really strange speaking without my chat being able to talk. Like, I'm not used to emote only mode. It was like so weird. I felt like I didn't know how to vibe with you guys. I was just talking. So then I'm like, oh god, I don't know how to vibe. So I'm just like, I guess I'll just read my points then. And I'm like, oh, okay. And yeah. I didn't mean for this to be like a long stream. I feel really relieved now, actually. Okay. Thank you so much for coming. I couldn't get myself to plan an actual stream. That took the mental energy of, I'm literally gonna just like tap out for the rest of this year, to be honest. So I'll see you guys next year. I'm not gonna be missing anything anyway, hopefully. And yeah, so I'll see you guys. Actually, I have a sponsorship tomorrow, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for coming, and I'll see you guys then. And yeah, bye everyone. Thanks for coming. Bye guys. I feel like I should respond to people. I actually really miss you guys talking. I kind of wish we didn't do emote only mode, but like, you know, that's okay. It's probably better for, you know, the chat experience. I don't know. But yeah, I kind of miss seeing you guys talk. So now that I see you guys talk, I feel like it's not only me here. And now it feels like I kind of want to stay here because like I see you guys talking now. So like now that you guys are talking, I'm like, oh, now that you guys are talking, I might as well stay because like you guys are here and you guys and stuff. And anyways, I'm like, right. So yeah. So you know. So anyway, like what was the thing? Somebody said something. Let me scroll up. Hold on. Somebody said something upstairs. I mean up. Scrolled up. And is lost. But yeah. Yeah. Anyway, anything you guys want to talk about, I guess? Honestly, about like the whole manipulation thing, I feel like sometimes, like, hear me out, guys. Sometimes I feel like I manipulate myself into thinking things that aren't true. and by like sometimes I like trip myself out. So then when I feel like I manipulate myself, that's when I'm like, you know what? I'm just not gonna say anything. I'm overthinking it. But you know what? From now on, if I think something or if I feel something, there's no harm in asking. And I want to just tell myself this. There's no harm in just asking. If I feel a certain way, if somebody makes me feel a certain way, something's happening that's kind of suspicious, makes me feel uncomfortable, there's no problem at all just asking. None at all. So that's what I want to get better at doing. Just asking. And I think that's called confrontation, which I fucking suck at. So I used to be really good at it when I was younger. In high school, I was so good at confrontation. But then something happened and now I just doubt everything about myself. Not anymore, not recently, but like back then I just doubted everything about myself. And I just can't explain what that felt like. I just felt like I lost who I was. I just didn't know who I was at all. It was so weird. Anyway, talk to Dr. K. I don't even know what I talked to him about. Just be like, can you just help me fix everything? I don't know. But yeah. I think it took me 5 years to realize that I'm on the internet. And there's nothing I can do about that. Well, there is, but like I don't want to do anything about that. So it took me 5 years to realize I'm on the internet. And you know what, Kimi? Either suck it up or take responsibility for you being on the internet. And talk about hard issues and have hard conversations. And talk about things that are uncomfortable, you know? Because whether you wanted to or not, you're here now, you know? Sex education is the best show. Johnny, is that the one thing you took out of this conversation? I actually heard it's really good. I kind of want to watch it. Whatever you do, don't read random comments after this and doubt yourself. I probably will. But what can I say? I'm probably going to read random comments and doubt myself, but I spoke nothing but the honest truth of what I saw that happen in my life. And at the end of the day, whether people doubt me or not, like, I don't think I could have sat here with a straight face telling these things that happened to somebody I genuinely cared about and still do. I've never wanted to hurt anyone my entire streaming career. I've never hurt anyone my entire streaming career. I've never wanted to cancel anyone. I don't want feelings to be hurt. I'm the type who always tries to look for win-win situations. I try to hear everyone's side of the story. I really try to understand everything going on. I try to find the reality of things that are happening. Like, if people doubt what happened, then, like, I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, I can't control that. But you're the least controversial streamer on Twitch. Unless I'm driving. Listen! Yeah, true. But that ends now. I'm gonna be a controversial streamer now. Did you see my last tweet about Donald Trump? Did you see it? It was a banger. It felt so strange tweeting something about politics. I'm like, what am I doing? And then George was just like, just do it. And I'm like, okay. We stand a leftist. Is not liking Donald does not agreeing with Donald Trump make you a leftist, or does it make you smart? No, I'm kidding. Don't hate me. Okay. Woo! Okay, that was too far, Kimmy. Too controversial. Too far. Okay, it's good. Baby steps. Okay. Okay, yeah. One step at a time. Alright. Well, I feel good. Thanks for coming to my stream. I just wanted to end on a note where I felt comfortable and I felt like myself again. So I feel like I've gotten to that point where I feel like myself again. So I feel good again. Thanks for helping me get there. And for hearing me out. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for coming. Bye, guys. Good night.